You may or may not be able to see, the ground behind me is actually wet. 2 days ago, I applied my second pre-emergent application. I used Prodiamine, but without getting too much details, the reason why I'm making this video is because I had to get a new backpack sprayer. Keep it simple and just mow. The Ryobi I had was actually pretty good for the first year, but then with the amount of times I'm using it and how heavy of a usage I'm putting it through, I'm using different chemicals, insecticides, fungicides, fertilizers, you name it. And through the heavy use, the hose connecting the sprayer nozzle to the backpack started leaking and it just kind of ripped in half. So here comes the Flowzone 3. This is the sprayer that I'm going to try to use and probably give it a review later on. I believe you cannot give a full review on any product unless you used it for an extended period of time. Now, before I use this sprayer, I need to decide what I'm going to use it for, and I need to calibrate myself to it. The first thing is to decide what type of nozzle I'm going to use. If I'm looking to apply a product that's fully absorbed, I want to look for a nozzle that's going to apply it through a fine mist. If I'm looking to apply a product that needs to get down to the soil, I'm going to use a nozzle that's going to apply it very heavily so that it can get down to the soil. After I decide the type of nozzle I'm going to use, the next thing I need to decide is how much square footage I need to treat. Because I have a relatively small yard, roughly about 5,000 square foot, and that's just for the backyard only, I'm going to look to put down the entire 4-gallon backpack sprayer over a 5,000 square foot area. So I need to figure out the speed and the amount of pressure that I need to apply through my backpack sprayer. Now I'm going to fill the sprayer with water completely, just plain water. You don't want to use anything else. The next thing is to decide what pressure you want to set it at. The Flowzone has 5 different pressures I can set it at, from 1 to 5, 5 being the strongest, 1 being the least strongest. I'm going to start somewhere in the middle and decide if that's good or not. And I'm going to try to apply the water over the entire 5,000 square foot. At the end of this, when I'm done applying, I'm going to see how much water I have left in the backpack sprayer. That will determine whether I need to increase the pressure or back off on it. After I was done, I found the number 3 setting was actually perfect. I had a little bit of water left over, and that means I can just step up my walking speed just a little bit. I don't need to increase the pressure. If I had a lot of water left over, that would mean I would have to increase the pressure or possibly increase my walking speed. The goal is to try to find a comfortable walking speed. So I'm going to give you a scenario. Let's say I decided to start on pressure number 2. That's going to give less pressure. I'm going to try to walk it and see if I can apply the entire 4 gallons of water over the 5,000 square foot area. And if I had a lot left over, it would mean that I would either have to increase my pressure in order to put out more water, or I have to increase my walking speed in order to cover the entire 5,000 square foot and get rid of all the water in the backpack. Remember, the goal is to find a comfortable walking speed. You don't want to be walking too fast and sprinting through your yard, but at the same time, you don't want to walk too slow, taking forever to apply the product you're looking to put down. So you got to calibrate your walking speed to your sprayer. So depending on how much you have left over, you're going to have to adjust one of those 2 settings, either yourself or the dial on the sprayer. I did this test one more time just to make sure I had everything down pat and I was calibrated perfectly to it. When I first started this channel, I made a video on how to calibrate a backpack sprayer. It was in my early days. The editing was not the best, but the information is sound. You can tune to this right here. The next thing I'm going to do is apply my Prodiamine. I'm going to use a 5-month control, and that calls for 0.367 ounces per 1,000 square foot. I'm going to take the 0.37 or the 0.367, depending on how accurate your scale is, and multiply it times 5. That's 5,000 square foot that I have to treat. I'm going to mix that into the backpack sprayer and then go ahead and start spraying. You can tune to this video right here for more details on how to mix Prodiamine 65 WDG.